Hello guys, this is Negro Tutor. Today I'm going to show you an in-depth gaming guide of the Frozen Orb and the Fireball Sorceress. This is a Cold and Fire Sorceress, also called Hybrid. So basically I'm going to show you now what items I have. The items that I have balance my skill points with fast cast rate and give me a very good amount of resist in hell. So you have to balance your resists with your fast cast rate and your skill adders with resists and all that stuff. And you gotta add percentage of fire damage and percentage of cold damage, and maybe some minus to enemy fire resistance and minus to enemy cold resistance, and have bonuses that add to your character power and stuff like that. Here I have some small charms. I had some large charms with +2 skills, but I lost those in one of my runs because I put them on the ground and I quit the game, and then they got lost. But basically I was gonna probably put those charms away eventually because I wanted to be able to pick some more items. So here I go. I'm gonna show you basically what items I have. Here is the Strata's Temper, the legendary Eldritch Orb. It's socketed with a cold facet, and the reason why I wear this orb is because it gives +2 sorceress skills levels, and if you get a good one it will give you +3. It also gives 40% fast cast rate, so that's really good. It gives you 15% fire skill damage and 23 to energy. It can go up to 30 to energy, I believe, and it's socketed with the cold facet. This gives me 3 cold skill damage and 3 enemy cold resistance minus. This is the Nightwing Veil Spired Helm, socketed with Numrune. So this gives me 2 to the skills, basically what I need for both fire and cold damage. And this one gives me 14% cold skill damage. It's almost perfect. It's 1% away from perfect, basically. That way I can balance cold and fire between my orb and my helmet. Some builds with the hybrid include the Dimensional Shard, Death Phantom, concentrating on a cold build, but me, I balance cold and fire with a Strata's Temper and Nightwing Veil Spire Helm. Then I have Mars Kaleidoscope. It gives +2 to all skills, 5 to all attributes, and 25% to all resistances. This amulet is very important for a caster. You gotta get this amulet if you are playing as a caster. It gives all resistances and 2 to all skills. That's very important, and that can add to both fire and cold skills and give you good resistances in hell difficulty. Skin of the Viper Magi. Here I'm going to go and show you what this does. It gives +1 to all skills, 30% faster cast rate, enhanced defense, all resistances, and magic damage reduced. So it's socketed with Numrune. That gives me more resistance, basically. So this, I need this for my faster cast rate. Basically my wizard, I want to reach 200% fast cast rate, or as close as possible to that, and that's why I wear this and this so far. So with those two together I have 70% fast cast rate. The breakpoint of fast cast rate is 85, but you can go up to 200, and after 85 it's less effective, but then after that you can have more fast cast rate, but it just won't cast as fast as before. So that's the skin of the Viper Magi, and this is the Spirit Shield Monarch. This is one of the best shield for a caster, and basically, if not the best shield for the hybrid caster. It gives all resist, vitality, mana, plus to all skills, faster cast rate, faster hit recovery, defense versus missiles, and yeah, basically you really need to have this shield. In order to make this shield, you have to get the rune style tool or Tenam and socket them into the order Tal tool or Amn in a 4 spirit shield in a 4 socket shield. And for this shield you need a Monarch. It's the shield that can have 4 sockets, requiring the least amount of strength to be worn, and that way you can max out your vitality, your mana or vitality without putting that many points into strength. This is the Mage Fist, and it gives +1 to fire skills, 20% faster cast rate, and regenerate mana +25. Those are good for a wizard, and the fast cast rate wizard that I want to have, it gives 1 to fire skills, so that's what I want for my fire damage. Here's a fast cast rate ring with 2 resists, cold and fire, and this is a belt, Arachnid's Mesh. What this does is it gives +1 to all skills, 20% fast cast rate, and as you can see, it has a couple of other bonuses, but those are not that important. The wizard doesn't really benefit from them other than the one that it says increase maximum mana by 5. So the reason I'm wearing this is a balance between cold and fire skills and fast cast rate to max out my fast cast rate at 200. Another fast cast rate ring here. This one has all resists, and I'm gonna show you here my boots. Another option for your boots is Sandstorm Trek. This is Aldur's Advance, or you can use some other boots depending on the resist it gives you, such as Natalia's, but I use those boots for 52 life and fire resist. With those boots I can have most resists, and basically, as you can see here, I have 75 and 72 and 75 and 60 fire, cold, lightning, and poison. My fireball does 3600 to 3900, and my frozen orb does 691 to 723. I have here points into strength. I put enough points in strength so I can wear the Monarch. That's my most strength required item. None into dexterity because I'm not using Wizard Spike. That requires 75 dexterity, so you might have to put some points in dexterity if you want to wear that. And this character is focused on vitality and armor when it comes to survivability, so I put everything in vitality. I'm gonna go now in the skill tree. In order to obtain the best damage with fire, and basically that skill is Fireball, you want to have 20 points to Firebolt, and 20 points to Fireball, and 1 in Fire Mastery. Then you have to put points to Fire Mastery, but first you have to max out Fireball, and then you have to max out Firebolt. You want to put 1 into Fire Mastery as fast as possible, and after you max out these two, in the order of Fireball and Firebolt. You want to put 20 points here, alternating between cold and fire. Here you also need 1 point into warmth, because that regenerates your mana, and with auto skills, charms, and items, you get more to this skill. You just need 1 point, and you'll have a good mana regenerator. Lightning, you need static field, and telekinesis and teleport. So those are self-explanatory. Static field is for killing bosses, and teleport is for moving around the map. Basically, you need to find the boss really fast. Your cold spells, you want Frozen Orb. The reason why you want to pick Frozen Orb is because this spell is the best hybrid spell in terms of cold. It gives you the most damage when sharing points between two spells, basically fire and cold. Then in order to get the spell, you have to put the 1 point into all these 5 spells here, and you have to max out Frozen Orb, max out Ice Bolt, put 1 point into Cold Mastery, and basically just alternate points in between Cold Mastery and Fire Mastery. But you want to max out your Frozen Orb first, max out your Ice Bolt after that, and put 1 point to Cold Mastery as fast as possible, and then you want to alternate between Cold and Fire Mastery. Then basically here, this character has Shiver Armor, because I want to focus on Vitality and Armor. So Frozen Armor, Shiver Armor. Shiver Armor adds a very big bonus of defense, so then when you cast Shiver Armor, I'm gonna show you what it does basically. So I cast Shiver Armor. Now I have 3,426 defense, and that makes my character much more harder to kill. A good item also that you might want to use is Call to Arms. Well, good item. This is almost a must if you want to be a serious player, because it gives you battle command and battle orders and battle cry. Unless you want to have a magic find weapon on this weapon switch here, like a 6-socket weapon with ist and the 6-socket shield with ists, or a 4-socket shield with ists. I think 4-socket is maximum. I'm not too sure. Anyway, basically here's the Call to Arms. It gives you the points into battle commands and battle orders and battle cry. So I'll show you what this does. I go here and say River of Flame to show you what it does. As you can see, now I have 1,465 hit points and 631 mana. What this did was add points to my mana and adds points to vitality and to my skill level. So if I go into my character, I can see here my Frozen Orb and Fireball do more damage. Here my Fireball increased by about 300, 400, if not maybe 700 or 800 damage or something like that, and my Frozen Orb increased by about maybe almost 100 damage. If you add the maximum damage and the minimum damage a frozen orb and fireball. Those are pretty much the basically the damagers that I get with this weapon. So here you must have charms, and the best charms you want to get is the small charms with 5 to all resist and 20 vitality, or 5 to all resist and 5 to all attributes, or the one that gives you plus to all attributes and gives you the maximum. I think it's plus 2 to all attributes. I forgot if it's plus 2 or plus 5 to all attributes. But you might want to also get some charms with mana. Some of them can give you 17 to mana or 8 or something like that. And if you can't get with both resistances and vitality, or resistances and all attributes, you gotta get at least one of them. So that's the small charms you need. You don't really need the medium-sized charm, that's 2 squares. You just need the large charms that are 3 squares. Here I lost mine, so I had them before, but basically what you want to have for the large charms is the plus to skill or charms with plus to vitality, so that gives you 1 to skills and 1 to another 2 of vitality. Then you need probably share in between fire and cold, so that gives you both fire and cold spells and others with charms that you get. So you want probably an equal amount of charms with fire and cold. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the frozen orb and fireball sorceress, cold and fire hybrid, guys.